Fragrance of the night is Classic by Banana Republic. It's woodsy. It's also green. There's a little bit of honeysuckle in it. A little bit of ginger. Yeah. You will love it. You can wear this whether you present as male, present as female. If you want to smell clean, crispy, fresh, with a slight bit of woodsiness. And when I say woodsy again, sometimes I think people get the message that like woodsy sounds brown. That sounds like brown sounds like spices or smokiness or whatever. Not in this case. In this case, think of a stroll through like a meadow part of a forest, if that makes sense. Meadow forest, two different places, but just a green forest. Thank you, Sean. It's just, you know what? I'm just a fan of fragrance. I'm not as well. I wish I was trained. You know what I mean? I think I wish I knew more, but mostly just reading about it and just buying perfume. You know, and what's interesting is like with perfume, like I love so many different kinds, but they all remind me of something. I haven't really smelled perfumes where I'm like, oh, I absolutely cannot stand that. I can always find a reason for certain ones, and there's some that I buy over and over and over. But there are some that I just classify. Like, for instance, this is a French fragrance, and with French fragrances specifically, the idea of layering with a base note, a mid note, or the heart of the fragrance, and a top note is extremely important. And the reason being is that French perfumeries are very interested and they really like to respect the philosophy of fragrance as layered and as something that changes throughout the day. That's something that really is important in French fragrance making specifically. And a lot of times, American fragrances are considered not as sophisticated. I'm not saying this, I'm just saying that in the perfume industry, are considered not as sophisticated because they're not as layered. And what I mean by that is a lot of the fragrances are considered linear fragrances, meaning they don't change as you wear them. The opening of the fragrance does not change with your body chemistry that much is what a lot of people feel. And that's what makes the fragrance a linear fragrance, meaning from the second you smell it to when it's completely gone, it never changed. In French perfume making, the idea is that the invitation will burn off and will change throughout the day. And when you're left with the base is just as strong as the invitational notes, but it changes in a way. So to reveal its layers. So yeah. Tonight's fragrance is one. I'm so excited about this one because it's a little bit different. It's not a spray fragrance. Most of my fragrances are spray. I do have some that are not, but this particular one is not. And this was a gift. Hey, Staunch. This was a gift from one of my dear friends who basically brings me one of these gifts every year. And it's not usually, or not always, around my birthday or Christmas. It's just whenever he makes the trip. And this is from my friend Hassan Ibel Jeremy and Elba Jeremy. And he brings me one of these every time he comes back from Dubai. So if you're not familiar with Hassan, Hassan is on here as Hassoon7, and he is Morgan McMichael's partner. And Hassan and I have been friends for many, many years. He's an amazing hairdresser, wig designer, stylist, has worked with lots of different clients, and also has his own salon, which has fared through the COVID, scary times. He's managed to hang on. Anyway, Hassan every year goes to Dubai at least once a year to visit family, because that's where he's from. And he brings me back perfume and candy. And this is the bottle of the perfume, right? And I have to show you how pretty. So that's the bottle, and it opens there, and then you twist it, and it's a perfumed oil, and it comes out there, and it sits back in here, and it's built like this little, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a little building or an edifice, and it has all of these blue stones all throughout. And it sits on your table just like that. And it's got that color. Now, what's wonderful about this, because they're always good every time he brings them. But what's wonderful about this is that it is an amber floral, which is, you don't always get that. There are a lot of amber fragrances. There's a lot of florals. There's a lot of fragrances that have both of those elements inside. But this particular one, anyway, this is called Sharina by Rasasi or Razasi. It's two S's, but you know, I don't know if it's Rasasi or Razasi. In any event, it is called Sharina, and it is an amber floral. So the base of this really is kind of musk and amber. Those are in the base of it. But this opens with patchouli for sure. There's definitely patchouli in it. It also opens with geranium, rose. I would say there is something called valerian. If you're not familiar with valerian, is an ingredient that sometimes exists in fragrances. But the middle, the heart of this fragrance, what lives in the heart of this fragrance is a flower called costus, which two things that are in the heart of this that are very strange. I talked before about an ingredient called civet, which used to be in a lot of fragrances that we no longer use. There is now like a lab created a synthetic called civetone. And the reason that we don't use civet, we use civetone now, is because civet was originally taken from the anal glands of the civet cat, which is a tropical animal. And, you know, obviously we're not doing that anymore. But the interesting thing was that was used in a lot of very, very rich, heady fragrances. Literally secretions from the anal glands of this particular cat. It's no longer done. They have a synthetic of it called civetone. And so that lives in this fragrance. It lives in the heart of this fragrance, as well as costus. And costus is a type of flower. Oddly enough, another strange element that exists in perfumes. Costus flower is described by many people in its original raw form to smell dirty. And when they say dirty, I mean, it has been described to smell like filthy, unwashed hair, unwashed scalp, like just like a dirty person. And that's interesting that in the heart of this fragrance would be two elements. One, what smells like a cat's ass. The other, what smells like someone's dirty hair. These weird things happen in fragrance where they find that by marrying those with stronger florals or stronger herbals or whatever, it balances them out. It introduces an earthiness that becomes palatable for people and enjoyable to people. It's very, very weird. So yeah, civet is something that is no longer used and is now called civetone. But also in the heart of this is saffron. That's a very warm, a warm element. And of course, frankincense. This is gorgeous. This is the bottle. Sharina by Rasasi. And this is a gift from Hassan. He brought it from Dubai. Actually, this company, Rasasi, has over 190 different fragrance profiles, different bottles of fragrances. Some are oils, some are sprays, all kinds. But if you are interested in something that is an amber floral, this is absolutely gorgeous. You can purchase this. I know that he brought this from Dubai, but I mean, I'm sure you can buy it online. But Rasasi. Sharina by Rasasi, an amber floral. It's very warm. I would say the dry down to this is powdery, smoky, amber. It's got a sharp floral to it, but it's not a juicy. It's not a light fragrance, and it's not a juicy, fruity fragrance. It's not particularly vanilla, although there are notes to it. I would definitely say that it is a woody, musky, amber, you know, those are the elements that you get from it, but it does dry down powdery a bit. But it's very sophisticated, it's very layered, and I would say it's mysterious. It's a mysterious fragrance, if you like something like that. Yeah, this is nice. This is, but Hassan knows what I like when it comes to fragrance, and he brings one every time from Dubai. And of course, the chocolate is out of control too, but the perfume is sickeningly good. So yeah, the fragrance of the night is brand new to me. Never in my life have I ever smelled this fragrance. Why is that playing that way? That's interesting. I've never smelled this fragrance before. This is a gift from a gift giver. A heart brought this to me at an in-person appearance, one of our dining experiences that we do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Executive Suite in Long Beach, which we will be at this week with a rotating cast of characters. But my heart, a friend, Tommy Peters, brought this fragrance to me. And many people have talked about this in the live before, but I've never experienced one before. And this is a Creed fragrance, a company called Creed. Not Creed the band, but a company that makes fragrance. And this is their Iris Tuberose. Like Iris Tuberose, but Iris Tuberose by Creed. And this is, I will tell you right now, might be in my top, like probably my top 5 most expensive fragrances that I now own. I did not purchase this. This is a gift. I love that. Psychedella, you got it right on the... Psychedella always gets the nail right on the head. Joan Van Ark, hello. Anyway, thank you, Lori. Anyway, this is a Creed fragrance, not to be confused with the band Creed, but a company called Creed, a perfumery. And this is Iris Tuberose, or tuberose, if you will. And this is a white floral, very green and slightly aromatic fragrance. So if you're looking for something spicy or extra fruity sweet, this is not your fragrance. This is going to be, again, a white floral green. Derek, please. You have not ever, Derek, you silly goose. Stop. Oh, stop, Derek. Anyway, but Derek, by the way, Derek, there was, like, didn't I legit, try to do, like, a Jan Crouch? Do you remember that last year? I was trying to do a Jan Crouch thing. I actually have a new Jan Crouch wig, so I am going to do it. But in any event, this fragrance, a white floral, green, slightly aromatic, but the invitation of this fragrance, meaning the top note that you're going to get from this, is violet, orange. I'm going to say, I know it's got like there's definitely something bitter in the beginning of this, right? So there's an invitation that's a little bit bitter. And that is from the, oh gosh, is it called galbanum? I think it's called galbanum, something like that. And it's like a tree resin. It's a type of tree that they take the resin out of that, and it's a little bit bitter. But remember, like we were talking about the animal anal glands that once upon a time were used in fragrance. As awful as, of course, that was, and we don't do that anymore. They have they have a lab created version of that. In this sense, this bitterness that you get in the invitation is only meant to calm the sweetness or to activate something else. So it doesn't mean that the perfume is going to be bitter. It just means it's an element that they use to activate other things or blend the mid note with the top invitation or connect it to the base. The heart of this fragrance is, of course, tuberose and lily, which is interesting because most fragrances will contain a lot of their herbal is usually in the heart of the fragrance to connect everything and balance it out. Of course, this does have herbal in the heart, but what you're really smelling in this is the tuberose and the lily. And then the base, of course, is simple, a musk base. Fina Barbital's in here. She said not too long ago that she's sitting on a musky base as well, which who doesn't love just a little musky base? Vanilla and orange blossom. Now, when you say orange, and you said there was orange in it, and now you're saying there's orange blossom. There is. So the citrusy part in the opening of this fragrance, the invitation, the citrusy part of that is the actual fruit of the orange, right? The edible part. But in the base is the orange blossom, the actual flower. So that's what's in in the base of it, along with some vanilla and of course the musk, the main part of it. So that's what it sits on. And then in the middle, you get a lot more white floral. In the top, that I want to say it's called galbanum, but I could be wrong with the actual pronunciation. And that kills me because I should have checked the word. But I want to say that's in there. It has to be in there because I've read about Creed fragrances before and I know that's included in certain things. So in any event, if you're looking for a white floral with a slightly green element and something that is going to meld and the musky base is going to come through, this is going to be a great fragrance for you. This again is the way it's spelled on here, like the first word is iris and then tuberose or tuberose, but obviously it's written in French, so you know I'm not French. But in any event, again, I did not purchase this, but I will tell you right now, just you know, between us hearts, this is like a $300 bottle of perfume, and I feel a little bit sowish having this perfume. Again, it was a gift from a gift giver. A heart gave this to me, and I just want you to know that, of course, I do appreciate it, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it blows my mind that fragrance can cost that much. But I understand. When we left off, I was talking about fragrance, my fragrance that I'm wearing tonight, which last night I was wearing diamonds and sapphires because I felt, I don't know, I felt like wearing that sapphire necklace. And so this is a less popular, but still, I think, really, really good offshoot of the White Diamonds dynasty, as you would call it. And it's White Diamonds Night by Elizabeth Taylor. And I don't think this smells anything like regular White Diamonds. And it's not supposed to, because it's a derivative or you know, within the umbrella of still a luxurious fragrance, a rich fragrance, a potent fragrance, but in a different profile. So this one is woodsy, it's powdery, there's patchouli in this, there's sandalwood, I would get like a musk, bergamot, so, you know, warm, not caramely. I wouldn't say, it doesn't smell sweet like food. It smells what you would imagine, again, like oak and very that, you know what I mean? Like it's very, I say you know what I mean a lot, I know, but just because that's where I am, I guess. But definitely woodsy, powdery, musky, sandalwood, rich woods. That's what this smells like. I love it. I love this one. Actually, this might be one that I like more than regular White Diamonds itself. And I love White Diamonds, and I love diamonds. I love all of them. There's other ones that I'm gonna show as well. There is one called White Diamonds en Rouge, not to be mistaken by White Diamonds and Rubies. That's a different one. But White Diamonds en Rouge, I found it in a description. I had never heard of it before. I didn't know it existed. So of course I was like, I've got to go buy this because it's got to be, you know, honestly, a lot of the fragrances, a lot of the diamonds fragrances are not terribly expensive anymore. I can't find it. I couldn't find it on Amazon. I couldn't find it on eBay. I couldn't find it in a regular search. So Perfume of the Night is, I haven't talked about this perfume on live before. I haven't worn it on live, but I wear it often, and I have referenced it before to other people. This is a perfume and a perfume, a fragrance designer, I guess you could say, that I think gets a lot of heat from people because people say they don't like her or they don't like what she stands for or anything like that. But the Perfume of the Night is the original Paris Hilton by Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton has 25 different fragrances, including masculine and feminine profiles. I quite like this fragrance. It's a bit outside of what I normally would like, but if I'm going to wear a fruity floral, I absolutely quite like wearing this. I feel like this fragrance reminds me of spring. It reminds me of something it's a very flirty fragrance. It's a fresh fragrance. It is based in musk and sandalwood, and I would say, because the finish, like what you're left with, is floral, probably ylang is in this, but the top notes of this are definitely melon apple, peach, specifically green apple, but melon, peach, green apple, high CC Russell. But the middle notes of this, you know, basic florals that you would get from stuff. Lily, you'll get a lot of freesia in this. A lot of freesia in this fragrance, which is great. You don't get freesia in a lot of fragrances. Mimosa flower, maybe jasmine, probably. I love this fragrance. A lot of people say, oh, it just smells like a cheap body spray. You know what? It lasts. I would suggest if you're looking for a fruity, a floral that's fruity versus a fruity that's floral. So a little more floral with a touch of fruit. I would absolutely suggest Paris Hilton by Paris Hilton. Now there's also Eris, there's Can, there's Siren, there's a million. She has 25 different fragrances. But this one, I love it. I love this, and I always have a bottle of it. This is a little bottle, but you can get a bigger one. You can get this in a body spray. You can get this in a lotion. And I suggest if you're going to buy it and you are somebody who shops in person, go to a Ross or a Burlington Coat Factory or a place like that to get it for the best price. I mean, you're going to get it for less than $20 for the big bottle. So yeah. So basically, if you're going to get this size, which is probably, I don't know, an ounce, that's probably 1.7. Yeah, this is probably 1.7. I mean, $12.99 probably. I think it's nice. It's a nice fragrance. I really do like it. You have the blue one. Rice Ab, is it the blue, quote, men's one? Because I have that one as well, and I love it. I love wearing it. Whenever I travel anywhere, I only carry a 1 ounce cologne to wear during the day, and I usually take the blue Paris Hilton that is geared for, quote, men, end quote. What's the most you'll pay for a fragrance? I don't think I have a cap on what I'll pay for it, but I can tell you that I don't buy a lot of expensive perfume recently, just because I try to be a little more responsible about money, because, you know, I think we're all going through the same thing. What perfume do you recommend for a lady that's in her 70s that is soft and won't give her a headache? I would honestly probably suggest check out Coach. And you can buy Coach at Ross as well. It's a very, very nice, simple, clean, white floral, but it's based, and it's not floral in the sense of rose or strong jasmine or strong freesia. We're talking about just white, simple florals on top of a sandalwood and a musk. Simple, clean, elegant, classy, not heavy at all. Fragrance of the night, Morgan knows also, because she's been choked out by this. House of Guerlain, Samsara. And the reason I chose Samsara for tonight is because Samsara in Sanskrit means world. And I do know that Carmen Sandiego travels the world. And also, this is one of my favorite fragrances. This is not the original formula. The original formula comes in a gorgeous bottle. This is a beautiful bottle too. But the original comes in a different bottle. So Samsara, as I said, in Sanskrit, it means world. And also really also means rebirth. And this is a gorgeous fragrance. If I was to describe this to you and the person that wears this, I would say sophisticated. I would say wealthy. I would say particular. I would say sensual. I would say traveled. That's what this fragrance is. The base is musk, sandalwood, tonka bean. But what you get out of this is the top and middle notes are very, very, they're very loud. They really come at you. You're smelling ylang ylang, rose, definitely iris. We talked about iris the other night. I was wearing a fragrance. I was wearing an orris, amber orris fragrance by Korres. But this does have orris root in it as well, which is the root of an iris plant. So you do get that. Definitely violet. Violet screams at you through this. The scent of violet and peach. There's quite a bit of peach in this. So yeah.